Grand Rising fam, hope everyone's doing well. This AM, Infinite here, and we're about to get the morning expression out for the collective. We're going to be using the Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck to see what the message is. For those of you all who are new to the channel, I am an open medium, channel psychic, intuit, clairaudient. I'm also a spiritual advisor, so for anyone who would like to seek assistance or who feels that they need to seek assistance for their spiritual journey, you all can hit me up in my description box for that info. Also, for those of you all who are open to making donations, that info will also be in the description box, okay? So we have three cards and a focal today, and we're going to see what the message is. So our focal card is to heal, okay? So, excuse me. I'm hearing spiritual bonds, spiritual ties, granite rock. I don't know. Y'all know they be tossing some words out sometimes that don't seem to fit in. Then over time, for me, throughout the day or the next day or so, I'll see why they're saying it. But okay, so they're mentioning a misuse of words, misunderstanding. Um, oh, and they used concrete the other day for me. So granite rock and concrete. I'm putting them together because what I came up with over time, just to kind of clear it up, maybe what they're saying is that, and I'm hearing Ashford and Simpson, old schoolers, y'all, solid as a rock. That's what I'm hearing. Solid, solid as a rock. Yeah, that's what this love is. That's what I'm hearing. So, but they're they're doing this to our heads, like do, 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 do. Like it's like knocking upside our heads. Like, don't you get it? Can't you get the message? This situation is solid, it's sturdy, it's durable. The bonds are strong, the bonds are tight. Or this is something that we need to be doing. They were trying to give us the strengthening bonds card earlier. So as I was shuffling, so that may be what they're talking about. But they're saying secure these things. Again, some of these deals, these contracts, these things that we have brought into being have had so much snake oil in these old bonds. They're saying these old ties, but these new ones are overripe. Misunderstanding, clouded judgment, deeply rooted things. They're even causing health issues, again, possibly why heal is here. The number 17, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 8 is about rebuilding, renewing, strategizing. I keep hearing relocating, which is something that they have been giving us. So some things are stirring up trouble. Some things have antiquated value. Again, some things are overripe. But some is a groundswell. Some of this stuff is big, 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 big business, big. They're saying gather up this stuff, gather up your fruit. The fruit are there, but many of us are being deceptive and deceived, and a lot of these things are piling high, 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 stacking higher, 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 and they're showing us kind of stuck to a wall, but it's grounded, but we're stuck. It's like our health is being affected too. They keep saying, get it up. They're saying, get it up, get it out, and seal the deal. Change your energy, work on your integrity. Breathe, 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 breathe. Recompile, recompromise, redo, reveal your true self, your health, heal. You need to heal because the longer you hold on to these things that are from the past, these things that are bringing in static, these things that are bringing in lethargy or lethargy. And I was saying the other day, I feel pretty lethargic, and I still kind of feel it today, but not as strong. But yeah, this comes from us holding on to these things, being tired, overworked, overburdened. Again, we're overdoing ourselves. We're over addressing something. We keep, it's like we feel like we're being disloyal to something if we don't continue to be a part of it. And it's time, it's just time. Spirit saying it's time. It's snake oil. Get up out of it. Come up out of it. Conduct yourselves accordingly. Reapply this to something new. The things that you already have done and healed from, the things that you have healed from, reapply it to something new. Again, that's that 8. You're redoing it. You're observing it. They gave us the observation card some days ago for a couple of days. I pay attention to some stuff. This is what they're doing. Like, take note of some stuff and reapply it in a new venture, a new business venture, a new workload, a new ethic, a new timeline, something new. You're on a new adventure. You're stirring up trouble. Complete your mission. Do your duty. Do your work. Do what you need to do to bring in your true nest egg. You keep getting caught out there, and they're showing so many of us with these tired eyes, these tired faces, just tired, sullen, sunken, just tired. So it's time to heal. It's time. We have to nurture ourselves and work on and nurture our integrity too, because our nest eggs, they're overripe, over full, and we're going to miss a lot of opportunities. This is problematic for us. This is gaslighting for ourselves, for our families, for our storylines. We keep holding on. What are you holding on to? You're staying a slave. You're staying a slave to the mindset of the things that you have in your life at this time. It's time to shift, right? Take a shift. They show someone literally just quickly deviating onto something else quickly, you know, relocate. The judicial system is watching, and you're going to overburden yourselves over time. Don't you all realize that that's what you all keep going through? You keep having these hiccups. These hiccups keep coming because you won't get it right. You just can't get it right. I can't get right in y'all know Eddie Murphy and Martin, Bokeem Woodbine, uh, life. Yeah, life. Hey, we're doing life and we're still not getting it right. We are doing life and we are still not getting it right. We are in prison just as they were in our minds. Our minds have us stuck in the same hamster wheel, the cycles of life. Just keep being repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. We can't get out of jail either. We're stuck in jail. And we end up having to swindle ourselves out just as Martin and Eddie Murphy did. Having to sneak up out of there only to return to another jail. Heal. Heal. Only way you can do that is to master yourself by healing your heart. Number 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 is about new beginnings. I mean, well, hey, that 1 is, and the 5 is about detachment. So they're both, that's a letting go and starting over. I don't know why that came up, but yeah, so 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 is about your self worth and your self value, okay? Or the worth of something financial coming in, okay? But they're saying conduct your business accordingly. That's what they just said. And shift into something new. Again, new beginnings. Finalize that contract. 5. See, they found a way to work it in for sis. Thank y'all, Spirit. So our hearts are broken here. They're closed off. They're shut off. They are in prison. Again, doing life. Our hearts are doing life in jail, in prison. It is in prison. Again, due to material and that shadow energy, the dirty murky and the shadow. So you see the heart is brown. That's the dirty murky. It's material. It's stuck. We rather, I'm hearing pride too, but we rather overwork ourselves. Again, them pences, them coins, again, so that's that 6. So this is what it's about today. This is spirit trying to let us see material gain is not about everything. Your hearts have been broken. It's time to revoke yourself from that. Bring your hearts up out of the imprisoned mindset, the slave mindset. That's shadow energy, shadow memory. You see how the love, the heart chakra energy is surrounding him, even though he is in his shadow energy. He is in his shadow energy. His heart remembers the shadow energy, which is why there's that blemish. But a lot of it is coming from material gain, overworking himself, But look at how the heart chakra, all of that is around the heart. So it's there. It has severed its ties with the heart, though. The shadow energy has taken over. But it's only a blemish, though. That's the great thing. So that's showing that all of that beautiful heart chakra energy is available to our hearts. If we welcome it in, it's even shrouding him, his body. So the heart chakra, the love is there. Here it is. The love, share the love card is underneath the heal card. Number 3 is about communicating and expressing things, talking some things out. Okay, renewing yourself, renewing your health, renewing your heart. So our hearts are affecting a lot of what we have going on in our lives at this time. We don't feel that we are worth anything. We don't feel that we are worth anything but material is what I'm getting. That's all we are worried about is material gain. But what we are refusing to see and refusing to understand is that calamity comes when we overwork ourselves again, which overworks our health, which causes us just as what I'm going through right now, which is about I'm saying right now at this moment with this video, my communication again, the throat chakra, like I can barely breathe. I'm overworking my throat chakra. I'm overworking it. I won't sit down and still myself enough to breathe, to really get understanding and communicate. Talk about things, clear things up. It's a lot that's deeply rooted inside of me that wants to come out. It's a lot of childhood memories that they just said, a lot of childhood memories that want to come up and out. I just came across this picture of myself when I was a little girl, myself and my sister the other day, earlier today. And, I looked at it for a second. I didn't really study it too much, but, you know, I just went into a moment of memories and I shook them off, uh, just started to feel happiness, but also lower energy started to kind of come in. So I just chose to pull away from that picture. So these childhood memories, they cause us to think a lot of times. This is stuff we have developed from as we were children. Okay, so we have to come up out of that, understand that things, just going back to that, things are not everything. You know, things are not everything. Like you can be overcompensated with stuff sometimes. I, I share my past because my past is what it is, and that's what I have to talk about. That's what I have to give to you all. I'm not trying to give y'all somebody else's storyline. So, in order to give y'all an example, I have to talk about my past. So my past gave me everything, and I had to start saying to him, I just I already know you're going to give me that. I already know you're going to give me those things. I already know that the things are there, basically. They were overripe. It was too much of it. It was too much of it. You know, Someone else from my past prior to him told me, you're going to have everything you want one day and you're still not going to be happy. You know, I heard it, but I didn't because he wasn't giving it to me. And at that time, I was tired of being the one to do and bring and bring things into being. Financing, you know what I'm saying? Not judging them. I'm saying that's where I was in my frequency at that time. So, and then stepping into something where I was literally given everything, and it was an overcompensation of things. I was loaded down with things, and my heart was still broken, just as the previous past said. Your heart still gonna be broke. You still gonna be in the shadow energy. Still. Material ain't everything. Material ain't everything. You know? We have to be understanding of that. And I get it, until you have lived a certain situation, then you just don't get it. And people can be like, well, I don't know, you must have did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? You and I did. I absolutely did do something wrong, but it was us doing it together. We didn't know how to make the material and the love aspect of that situation work in sync. And that's the problem. So we rob ourselves, we rob our health, we rob our relationships, we rob our families due to the dirty murky, which is the material. And material is not bad. Again, I have to keep saying, I'm Venetian, I'm Taurus. I love stuff. I absolutely do. I love things. Even when I was in my lowest vibration, I was like, why can't I get it right in understanding that I do love things? But I kept rebelling against the fact that it was okay to have these things over time, again, because I was being overcompensated. So my ancestors that were within me started grumbling. That drum started to beat louder and louder and louder and louder within me. They were grumbling and they were contesting. It was time to fight that feeling. You got to fight that feeling and understand that there's something more out there outside of things. And you have to learn how to balance that energy out. And so that's when I started working on my integrity. And I became a slave to the letting go of things. I was robbing myself of that, going into mediocrity. I was a slave to it. I was like, I'm just resisting, just being a rebel for a cause for nothing. Well, you don't always have to be a rebel for a cause, but again, we have to go through those breaks, those phases in our lives to get clarity and understanding that sometimes when you let go of stuff, number five, when you do detach and let go, even with worry, everything starts to fall back into place. But you have to observe and get the picture first. You got to be able to live it first. And as long as I wasn't living it, I wasn't willing to take those breaks. It couldn't be cut out of my storyline. And again, I still robbed myself. I was still overthrown in my storyline because even though, look at how this goes, y'all. Look, this is so, this is what's up. Look at here. So I was in a storyline where I was being overbeared, overcompensated with things the whole time, even through the struggles. Just understand, hey, he was that guy. That's how he operated, okay? Now, I'm being overcompensated with these things. For years and years, I was good with it because I hadn't had it like that before. When I was younger, I did have a brother who did that same thing. When you're young, it's a whole different ball game. You're in your early 20s, and you're just like, okay. So, but other than that, to be given these types of things in your mature season life or maturer season life, you're like, yeah, okay, well, this is what I want. Me and my children are taken care of. Life is good. You're living in this nice home. Cars are decent. Everything is in good standing. And over time, you kind of start paying attention to the actions, and all this other stuff is kind of being infiltrated into the storyline. You still got all this stuff, but where's the actual love? Where is the actual love? Because you're not feeling it. You're not feeling it anymore. What you're being covered with is stuff, material stuff, and conflict. Because those things were bringing in conflict because that was his way of showing me love. Let me put that in there. That was how he thought love was. That was his understanding of love. Again, not judging. I'm saying that's what he thought love was. I started to see it over time as something else because obviously I too assumed that that's what love was initially. You know, I thought that's what love was too. But when it was time for me to take that break, I still was being, the brain ain't playing. Hold up, y'all. Close these windows. Okay, yeah. So I kept one of them open. But so pineapple and pomegranate juice. Pineapple and cran pomegranate juice. Something I just threw together because that pineapple juice be so thick sometimes. You know, they both fresh pressed, but yeah. Um, well, the pineapple juice is. Let me speak that right. Anyway, back to the story or the topic. But so I was being given so much, overcompensated in my storyline of things. I was pulling away from those things within my spirit self. My spirit woman was started to reject all that stuff. But I'm living in this big house, cars that are decent, j- just still getting what I want. Yet I'm still saying, I don't want it. I don't want it. But you still living in the confines of such an experience. Was that even making sense? So that just still shows that I still was very much lacking in my integrity. Hence the reason that I had to go through that fire. My karma wasn't no joke, baby. You got to pay attention, basically. Look at what you're doing to yourself. Look at what you're doing to your journey. Look at what you're doing to your bloodline. That's why that drum was starting to beat. Them ancestors, they were grumbling, baby. They were mad at my arse. They were upset because they were trying to reveal this to me. Like, okay, you're detaching. And mind you, we're breaking up. Break up to make up. Break up to make up. You know? I know he was getting sick of my ass. I'm just keeping it real. Like, either you going to do this or you not. You know? We were sick of each other. Because that's all we kept doing. It became monotonous. Either you want it or you don't. You're disrespecting this whole story. The natives were restless, baby. The natives within me, they were tired of grumbling. I'm steady sitting in my little altar room. I got all the little stuff that I need, my crystals, my yoni stuff, my just everything. My creative venues, ventures, my whatever. I had it. Still a slave to material. Because if I wanted it for my spiritual journey, I still had it. But I'm calling myself detaching from it. Walking around looking like Annie. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at it. That's just foolishness. That's just foolishness. Spirit is saying it's a repetitive cycle. We go through that. Our ancestors do it too. Somebody has to figure it out. Somebody has to get the journey right. They're grumbling. They're playing that grumbling in my ears and that drum. I was overworking them. I was overburdening them until that gust of wind came in and took the tower down. I had to be revoked up out of the castle, baby. The dragon was slain and that fire came. Yes. And now I'm learning to slay the dragon. I'm learning to slay the dragon. And I'm getting pretty good at it, I must say. I'm thankful. I'm appreciative. But we have to pay attention to this stuff. Again, we make ourselves sick in these storylines, and we make our mates sick in these storylines. Again, I have this big cyst on my side. It doesn't hurt. Like I keep sharing, it doesn't hurt. Hopefully it won't start once I go get it taken care of. I'm gonna get it taken care of one day. I gotta brave up to it. But it's a big cyst. It's about this big. It's about this big, shaped like an egg. Um, you know, but I get them again for those who haven't heard this, my story about them before. Like I get them when I stress a lot, so I will get them on the back of my neck. I have had them on my wrist before. They just come in different places. I've had them checked, and they're able to squeeze the stuff out from them, or they end up going away once my stress levels finally go down enough. But this one, I feel, is the worst one that I've ever gotten, and where it's located. So I'm probably gonna have to 9 times out of 10 have it surgically taken care of, claiming that it has not turned into something worse. I don't feel that it has, but so these types of things, we allow our relationships to affect our health. We do. Be mindful of these situations that you're putting yourselves in. Now it's time to heal. Resort to where you need to heal. There's he's breaking away. You see the chains, y'all see the chains. He's breaking away from the chains, and he's open up to doing it. He's ready. He is. He's ready. And he's allowing his stuff to penetrate his heart. See? His heart is being penetrated. He's leveling up to his spiritual self, his spirit man. He's conducting himself accordingly. Okay? Yeah. So he is receiving the well-deserved reward at this point. He's feeling good about it. Number 9, this is closing out the cycle. He no longer has limiting beliefs here. See, this is our masculine energy here. Both of these cards are masculine energy. So the masculines are tired of stirring up trouble. They're concreting again the granite rock. The solid as a rock. The concrete. They're open now. The masculine, physical masculine, as well as those of us ladies who has been dealing with the masculine energy in such a way, being subservient to that energy, being a slave to that energy. Our mindset, our way of thinking, it has been lackluster. It has been lying to us. Again, that subconscious mind. But because the masculines have decided to do the spiritual work, to let go, to close out that cycle, to revoke that bond, that contract, there are no more limitations because he has done the work. He has done the work on his spiritual journey, learning how to heal himself, learn how to become effervescent. You know, He's standing at the top of the mountain, solid as a rock, standing at the top of the rock. Look, he's standing there, solid. Look at him. He's standing in his power. And you see the solar plexus and the sacral energy is surrounding him. And I keep hearing coveting. I was hearing that a lot, and conviction. I was hearing that a lot during my office time this morning and the past few days as well. Coveting. So there's a coveting here, and hey, because he was open to accepting his convictions. Hey, you know, that's beautiful. I feel because he communicated these things. He stood in his root chakra energy. He did some communicating, and now his spiritual self, his spirit man, is no longer overworking himself. He has done the work. This is something we must do. Those of us who have not done it, who have not begun to do it. Allow your spirit man, spirit woman, but spirit man, because this is the masculine energy. Work on your masculine self. Everybody, work on your masculine self. Because as I said before, the feminine energy, she has pretty much done the work last year. She's still doing work now, but it's not as strongly needed in these areas here where the masculine is needing to do his work because she's already done that part. She's still kind of having to flip and jump a little bit, but He's the one having to do the work. He's tired. He wants to simplify some things. He wants to, again, seal the deal, make things solid as a rock, come up out of the sunken place. You know, he's ready now. He's ready. There is a groundswell here. He has matured. He's no longer angry. Okay. I'm hearing surreptitiously, but he's ended something, and serendipity. Every time I hear serendipity, for me, that word is very strong. That's a very strong word for me. My journey, my journey has just really been. She's been on some stuff, baby. She been on some stuff, good, bad, and indifferent. But the serendipity part for me at this point is pretty cool. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting how that crossing of paths, how that works. You have to go through the trials, even when you have these serendipitous moments. You know, it's like, okay, it's beautiful, yeah, and then all the extremities come in, chaos. But things start to settle over time, and you do begin to, over time, receive your reward. So again, this is where that masculine energy is, because that masculine energy is standing in his integrity at this point, at this moment, at this time. He's accepted the tower moment and the new timeline that he is being placed in. Again, he's ready. His mind is no longer deciding to sink or swim, to be rejected. I'm hearing misfortune. I'm hearing nightmares. I'm hearing lies, and looking at himself, looking at a new image of himself. And that's what I'm looking at with this masculine energy here. It looks like, he's kind of just looking at himself, maybe in his mind's eye, going through a bereavement phase and healing through it all. He's healing through it all. He knows he's being magnified. He knows he's being uplifted. He's changing course. That's that deviation. Yeah, he knows that what he has come into at this point in time, he knows that it is his, because he has done the work for it, and he doesn't feel that he needs to compete or anything. There is no more competition. I don't have to fight any longer for this thing. I don't have to fight for this thing any longer. I'm good. It looks like things are good for me now. This is what he's saying. It looks like things are good for me now. I don't have these pains in my heart any longer. I can now breathe. I've done a lot of manifesting from my groins, from my sacrals, my prostate, even my womb. I've thrown that other stuff up. I've gotten it out. All the stuff has come up and out. I'm letting it go, and I'm moving on to something bigger and better. My growing has slayed the dragon. Drag on. The things that were dragging on and on and on, they're over. They're over. I've convinced myself that I don't have to be conniving or slick anymore. This is what he's saying. I've done a lot of repenting. I've sacrificed a lot. I've shifted. I've changed. I'm a new man. I'm a new me. I'm a bigger me. I'm a better me. I'm open to this new thing. Spread your wings. The last card. Final card. Number 2, faith, acceptance, knowing, belief. I've balanced myself out. I've had enough faith to accept and know that the work that I have done is well deserved. I'm not robbing myself anymore. I've completed that cycle. I have been open to repenting. Again, letting go. This is a new journey And it's nice. It's sweet. It's gentle. It's maturing. It's better. I believe in this thing. I'm accepting of this thing. I've begun to clear the path and renew myself, heal myself. Look, and see how, again, both of their arms are spread open. They're receptive. Look at how, see the end, the top of the reading and the end. We're back at the top of the reading here. They're both open. Again, here we are. Look at this. The masculine and feminine energy. See how that works? The dual energies, the number 2. See, they're working together. They're working in sync. Look at how Spirit be putting this thing together, baby. This is a gentle energy from these two. These two, because there's a very, I'm hearing subservient. Okay, so with that, I feel there's a willingness from these two to work together. Okay, they were robbing themselves initially, which is why the health was in discord. The black, see the black, the shadow energy, but they've reawakened themselves. And so now they're in their intuitive energy. They can see. See that download going into her? Look at how that worked, though, y'all. Look, it's so beautiful. See, the light was coming from the bottom, working its way up to the top. See how it started to pierce his heart and then it made its way to the top. Because you could see the light around his head. And see? So now the downloads are coming down into her. She's walking her path, and hey, look at that. And so it's a cycle that they're open to. They've cleared the path. They're on a new journey. It's beautiful. See how that thing plays out? I love it. You know? So the masculine and feminine energies are doing the work in togetherness. They are now in sync. Again, that number 2. They are no longer a slave in their mind's eye. They are conducting themselves accordingly because they have revoked those ill will bonds. The transference of energy that they had from the past, the pains, the growing pains that they both had from their sacrals. They revoked them, that dirty, murky, that material. That's all they were looking for at first. Now they're tired. Their shadow energy is done. That blemish is no longer in their hearts. This is what we're leaning towards, y'all. They're cutting the cords. They gotten over the fight. You know, they have mastered that part of themselves. It's a sweet journey. It's a sweet journey because they have learned to love themselves. They have learned to love themselves because they believe and now they have succeeded. They knew they had to work, win or lose. They knew that was working that thing. They had to detach from a lot of stuff. Okay? They were revoking some stuff. Work, 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 work. Yeah, here's the love. Here it is. They got the love after they did the work, 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 work. Young and Drake. Because they were willing to listen to one another. That's what was going on. See, that's that throat chakra. That's that throat chakra energy. They learned how to start listening. They are now willing, at this point, is what I'm hearing, to be submissive to one another. So they're open to spreading their wings on this new journey that they're on in their togetherness. Okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to close my mouth a little bit. I'm going to listen to what he or she has to say so I can compute what is being said. I'm not going to be so ready to react. And I know I was good for that. I was. And you know, that's the crazy thing. I can keep going because the cards, they still embrace listening and embracing the power within the journey. I can keep going. But, you know, I know in my journey in relationships, I've always been the type to, I'm always open to Be submissive. I don't mind submitting. I like for my mate to be happy. I like to be there to take care of him somehow. I want the house to be clean. I want the food to be cooked. I want all of that. I want to be able to kiss his head and kiss his face. And that's just me, period. Like, that's just me. So those things that I talk about, those things, when I was saying them in the past, that's not something new to me. That's who I am. That's who I am. However, I lost my way in that 15-year situation because we started to lose all of that. We started to lose all of that. So that it's like now I have to relearn that again, but I'm so good in it. But in the reason that we lost ourselves in it, because neither one of us, at the point, were willing to listen to the other. We were reactionary energy. So he was there to show me he loved me by giving me, showering me with these things, giving all this stuff. But it wasn't love. That's why that shadow energy is here on this love card. See, and that's why he's looking at her like, I don't really know how to show you love. I'm trying to show you by giving you this stuff. And she's saying, but I'm trying to show you by expressing. That's that blue. I want to talk. I want to show you somehow. I don't know how to communicate with you though. So I got my little flag or my scarf though, but I see it as a flag. I'm waving my flag to let you know I'm kind of in my immature integrity too. We got a rough road, baby. But look at all the solar plexus energy and look at the heart. It was always there, you know. But if you're not open to being submissive enough to listen and compute and not be so ready to react all of the time, it's going to always compromise the relationship. Understand that no matter how giving you can be on either side, you know what I'm saying? We were team players, but we couldn't get it right because our mental capacity was so closed off from that subconscious energy contract that we have been brought up with. So we were trying to work them into the storyline somehow from our birthright of our growing up, from our ancestors and our parents. And so now here we are. New journey, new timeline. Start over. Are you ready to get it right this time? You know? Stop getting stuff twisted, Spirit just said. So now it's time to gain your true birthright, family. Now it's time to gain your true birthright. And all of this stuff about love, you know, I know a lot of times y'all probably are getting agitated with those of us who speak about love a lot in these readings and stuff. Listen here. In order to receive this material stuff, again, the dirty murky, you have to love yourself enough to give love to someone else to be able to gain that true groundswell of material things. Because the material things are already there. They're a part of your birthright anyway. This stuff is already yours. But we keep blocking it off because of the lack of self-love in ourselves, because of the lack of trust in ourselves. So we shake the natives up inside because they're trying to tell us to trust our hearts. We have to master our hearts. But they've been broken because of material. That's how we've been brought up. Everything has been about material. Again, it's okay to have it. It's okay to have it. Again, Solange and Beyonce. Like, again, I'm comparing the two of them. I see them both in me. And I'm saying that. I see them both in the prodigals. All of us who are prodigals. And each lifetime, someone comes in as the prodigal because you have to get it. This lifetime, it was me. Solange is the prodigal. This is my perception. This is my perception. Beyonce did the prodigal in another lifetime. Everybody can't get with Beyonce. In the beginning, I used to really dig her. No, first I didn't really care for them. Her. in the group, but I love the group, Destiny's Child. Then I started to really like her as she started to become stronger in her so-called integrity, as she and Jay-Z were co-partnering and doing their thing, even though I couldn't really dig him too much either. He was always up and down for me because that charm would love me in, because that's a charming brother, baby. I don't care how about his so-called exterior look, how we be judging him and stuff. He's charming and shrewd, and I like all of that. And so I'm like, okay. And so them co-partnering in their togetherness, and I was like, okay, I really dig them as a couple because I did see that power in them, and that's what we don't understand. Quickly going back to that, see, that's the problem. And that's probably why they started showing up in my feed. Like, I'm being taught. Like, we're all being taught by this stuff. The energy is what it is. Y'all see, they had to prove a point, whatever that was about. I haven't read it. I just saw it in my little time thing. What? That they didn't stand up for the whatchamacallit? They didn't stand up. My mind be doing too much. But yeah. So they, that energy of is they're the focal point right now. So that's what we got to ride with. So that's why they started showing up in my timeline, because there are lessons coming from them about us in relationship and stuff. Again, co-partnering, understanding how to treat your mate, how to be there for your mate, how to do all this, and this for your mate. So there won't be calamity in your timeline. Everybody want love now. Everybody want to be in a relationship, no matter how much you say you don't. I went through that. I'm tired of being by myself now. So I'm looking for somebody, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring that love for myself into my life, you know? Try and do that. But so I'm trying to make it be those similar types of personifications, because that's me. I like that. I can get down with how they work. I can get down with how they work. They're strong. They're strong in their partnering. And you got to learn how to do that. You got to learn how to be there for your partner. Y'all see, he had to come back in the end and fight for her. At first, it was kind of like, okay, I guess she was a little puppy. Maybe, I don't know that, but that's kind of how they were kind of showing it. He was depicting it that way to us. She made his behind work. You got to have some self-respect for yourself. And then, once y'all get together, y'all do that thing together. But there are lessons in all of this stuff. She had to learn to love herself. And before she was able to get him, she had to love herself. And so when he realized she wasn't studying his arts, okay, well, let me get my work on. And so there you have it. But stop fighting. Stop always feeling like it's got to be a reaction to some stuff in the relationships. But again, all of it still goes back to you loving yourself. And in order to get, again, the material gain, again, this is my life's journey, still right now. I'll see challenges, but I'll be good. I have to reiterate that. I probably will end up saying it on every freaking video, because I'm trying to, Spirit obviously need me to say it. Get the message, get the memo. I was taken down to the bottom of the pit. Started from the bottom. Now you're here. And here still ain't where I want to be at. But I'm good. I'm comfortable. I'm easy. I'm light. Everything is good. Again, you can have all the things, everything that you want. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss the mark, and you're going to have these tower moments, and they're going to be major. They're going to be major. So, y'all just pay attention. For those of you all who are living in your comfortable lifestyles now, everything is good, be mindful of your karmas that you are accruing. Be mindful. And you may not feel like you're doing nothing wrong. I absolutely didn't think I was doing anything wrong, because I was on a spiritual journey, convicting myself, tearing myself down in that comfortable ass house. It's just funny to me now, because that was the dumbest shit. Either you want it or you don't. So you actually telling money, you actually telling comfort, you're actually telling ease that you don't want it, but you still living in it. You stealing. You living in a mirage. You're lying. Pick one, because you're going to have to pay it back. I'm telling y'all some good stuff. Sis won't do that again. I promise I be trying to honor all the systems. Of course I'm still mucked up. Of course. And I get convicted every night or every morning. I do. It's a message in my day where I get the memo and I'm woke up refreshed and new the next day. Or I'm waking up refreshed and new the next day. Somehow. But you have to be open to your convictions. Okay? So I'm going to shut up. Y'all know how I get down. All right. So I love y'all so very much. It's raining here in the A today. It's pretty crazy. So those of you all who live here, be safe in these streets, and just do what you can to press forward on your day-to-day journey. All right. I love y'all. Peace and balance. Slay that dragon, baby.